Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is presented by Roan. Get the commuter shirt and check out the entire commuter collection with Roan. You can get 20% off by using code ChatSports at roan.com/chatsports. Day 2 of the NFL draft is upon us, which means I have cooked up a Day 2 mock draft. Plus, we'll take a look at some of the top players available on the board at some key positions, some potential Bears draft targets in the second half of this video. So let's start with the mock draft. Obviously, Darnell Wright was the pick last night after trading down from 9 to 10. They get their right tackle for the future. Plug-and-play guy, excited about that. A lot of more work to do, though, for Ryan Poles and company. Let's keep adding to the offensive line, shall we? Joe Tippmann in this mock draft was still available at number 53. John Michael Schmitz had already gone. We've kind of talked about the two before. I like JMS slightly more because I think he's more pro-ready right now. But I think Tippmann could start as a rookie for sure and has a higher ceiling as a player. You look at the scouting report we've got for him here, pretty much just a center, but he could play some guard if you needed him to. If you're drafting him, though, I think it's definitely to play that center position. Good quicks, power with the ability to pull if needed. I know Dane Brugler likes him in his zone scheme as well, which is good for this system that Chicago runs. Some balance and leverage problems. What's interesting about him, he's a 6'6" center. You don't see that very often in the NFL. Centers are usually in that 6'2" to 6'3" range, but he's a taller guy. Here's Brugler, his little breakdown of Joe Tippmann. He says, Tippmann must be mindful of his body leverage and balance to match up versus NFL defenders, but his quickness, strength, and vision are all plus traits for a starting interior lineman. He projects as an NFL starter either at center or guard, ideally suited for a wide zone scheme. Again, schematic fit here. That is, I think, important if you were to draft a center. And again, he's probably a better scheme fit than John Michael Schmitz. I just think Schmitz is a little more technically sound and advanced right now, but he also has some physical limitations that Tippmann has a higher ceiling on. So if you want to go with kind of the higher ceiling player, I couldn't really argue that because you've got Cody Whitehair and Lucas Patrick that could play center for you this year. You could treat 2023 as kind of a redshirt year for Joe Tippmann. He could work as a backup at center and at guard. Then in 2024, it's very likely that Patrick and Whitehair will not be on this roster, so Tippmann could plug in and play at that center position next year. And hey, if he wants the job this year, even better. But I think the value was too good to pass up here at 53 overall. One of the best, if not the best center in this draft. Again, it's close with JMS. You could go either way, but JMS was off the board. Should the Bears draft a center today? I think if things fall right, I would definitely like to see that. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Throw on your GM cap for me here. Would you like to see the Bears draft a center today? Y for yes or in for no. Next up on our Day 2 mock draft, Keanu Benton, back-to-back Badgers here on this mock, number 61 overall. Again, the value is just too good, man. I like Keanu Benton a lot. We'll break down the pick a little bit later. By the way, he's looking sharp in that picture, and if you want to look sharp, you got to do so with Roan. 20% off with Chat Sports. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Their commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man, and here is why. They help you get ready for any occasion with their commuter collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You never have to worry about what you have to wear when you have the Roan commuter collection. Lots of different stylish looks, and they're all very comfortable with their four-way stretch fabric that provides breathability, flexibility to leave you free to enjoy your full day. When you go to the office, if you want to get some holes of golf in after work as well, you can do it all with Roan. I think the best part about Roan is, look, a lot of companies out there put out nice-looking dress shirts. That's been the case for decades. But how often have you been uncomfortable wearing a button down? It's too stiff. The collar's not flexible enough. Roan is breathable. It's flexible. It's machine washable, which I love as well. You throw it in the washing machine. I did that this past weekend to get ready for the draft. And then you just air dry it, and you are good to go. Get 20% off at roan.com/chatsports with code chatsports. That's RHONE.com/chatsports, code chatsports. Link in the comments and in the description. You look at the scouting report for Keanu Benton. Steady growth, got better each and every year, had a really good year this past year, and stood out the Senior Bowl. I think that's significant here. Guess who was at the Senior Bowl? The Bears, Luke Getsy was their one of the team's head coaches. They drafted Darnell Wright, who stood out at the Senior Bowl. Keanu Benton stood out at the Senior Bowl. The Bears were there. I think that's notable. He's got good power. He's got to improve his hand placement a little bit, but I think the versatility here is pretty intriguing. Dane Brugler says that Benton needs to play with consistent leverage and become more of a consistent finisher for the NFL game, but his stout power base and above-average athleticism at his size are outstanding foundation traits. He has the talent to play all over the defensive line as a pro. And I think that's what I like about Benton. He could play both defensive tackle spots. I think in this scheme, you could even line him up on edge on occasion as well, and you got to start loading up on the defensive line. I love getting Darnell Wright, but you've got to get some defensive linemen there as well. Benton's got the flexibility to play both DT spots. You can kick him out on edge on occasion as well. Like the athleticism, like the flexibility, I think he's going to be a guy that Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus would like quite a bit. 53, 61, 64. I think if he's there at any of those picks, I would be very tempted to draft this player. Subscribe and join us. Myself, producer Rolly, will be live for day 2 coverage of the NFL Draft. We'll break down every Bears pick. We'll go live starting at 6:30, 30 minutes before Day 2 gets underway, so join us tonight, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central Time. We're going to have you covered for every Bears pick, so don't miss any of it. Okay, last pick here at pick 64. Darius Rush, the cornerback out of South Carolina, one of 2 corners for South Carolina that should come off the board today. Cam Smith still available as well. A lot of good corners out there, so I think if you want to get one, you could find one today. Former receiver, converted to corner. The ball skills are there. Really athletic and long. He's 6'2", about 200 pounds. Special teams value as well, over 400 special teams reps. I think that'll be valuable right away. Say he's not quite ready to be a day 1 starter. He's going to give you that production from day 1. The technique still needs some work. I mean, he's a converted receiver, right? But a guy like Trevon Diggs did the same thing at Alabama, and he's one of the best corners in the NFL now. And I think Rush has that type of upside if he can reach his potential. Brugler once again here says Rush is not a secure tackler and must continue developing his instincts in and off coverage, but he has the fluidity to and length to turn, run, and stay stride for stride with receivers. His athletic cover traits give him NFL starting potential as the man-to-man corner. Yeah, I think you bring a guy like this in the 3rd round. Let him compete for a starting job, right? Jalen Johnson's going to be one of your starting corners. Kyler Gordon, if all goes to plan, is going to start at nickel. Throw him in there with Kendall Vildor, Jalen Jones, Josh Blackwell. One of those guys can win the other outside job. Ideally, it would be Rush. I'd be thrilled with this trio of picks here. If you could get Tippmann, Benton, and Rush, that's a damn good day 2. It fills needs, it checks boxes, and you're getting good upside across the board here. So I'd be pretty happy if the Bears leave today with the center, defensive lineman, and corner. You could go 2 defensive linemen and corner. You could add a tight end. I mean, there's a lot of directions the Bears could go. We're going to take a look at some of the top players available at several positions in a moment. But if you end up with these 3 guys, I would be pretty darn happy. Now, which Badger do you like better? Is it Joe Tippmann or is it Keanu Benton? Type JP for, I don't know why I put JP, JT, it's all good. Joe Tippmann, Keanu Benton, type KB. Go ahead and let me know in the comments section down below. Okay, let's take a look at Tom Downey's overall best available. Then we'll take a look at some of the Bears' top needs, and then we'll go position by position here. Here are the top 8. Brian Branch, the safety out of Alabama. Look, Bears don't need a safety, but if he's somehow there at 53, you might just have to take him. Michael Mayer, tight end out of Notre Dame. A lot of tight ends still out there. We'll talk more about those players. Joey Porter, Osiris Torrance. There's another tight end, Darnell Washington. B.J. Ojulari, that's a player I would like to see the Bears get. Clark Phillips III, more of a nickel, so we'll see if he's on the Bears' radar. And then Steve Avila as well. You look at edge, which is obviously a big need for Chicago. B.J. Ojulari, who we just talked about, little undersized for a traditional 4-3 edge, but he's an advanced rusher. I would like to see him in here. Keion White, he was getting round 1 buzz, which I didn't get, but now you're in round 2. I would certainly be open to that. Isaiah Foskey, keep a kid local, Notre Dame, really productive college career, just like Tuli Pelotu. I think he had 22 and a half tackles for loss last year, 12 sacks, something like that. We've talked about him quite a bit. Some of the interior defensive linemen, Adetomo Adebare, the defensive lineman out of Northwestern. Obviously, There's been a lot of buzz around him this NFL draft. We just took Keanu Benton in our mock. I would be happy with either of those players at 53 or 61. Siaki Ika, maybe 64. I would view 53 a tick early for him, but I wouldn't hate the pick. He would fill a need. Jervon Dexter Sr., kind of like Benton, has some versatility. I like him more as a one-tech, but he's a player to monitor as well. If you want to check out our Day 2 overall draft coverage on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, you can do that. We'll be live again here on Bears, like I said, but every single pick, deep analysis, you can check that out over there, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Will Levis still there, Michael Mayer, some big-time talent still on the board. So if you want to find out where they all go in real time, we will have you covered. Top corners available. It's crazy. Joey Porter's still out there. Got to think that the Steelers at 32 to start today's round are going to be very interested. We'll see. Clark Phillips III, I mentioned him. He's more of a nickel, but I think he could be a possibility for Chicago. I'm more intrigued with an outside guy like Cam Smith. DJ Turner can play nickel or outside. We also mentioned Cam Smith's teammate, Darius Rush, so that's a name to monitor. I'll throw another one at you, Kelee Ringo. What happens with the Georgia corner? That is a name to monitor on Day 2 also. You look at some of the receivers. If I had to guess, I don't think Bears go receiver today, but if it's a BPA situation, they could. Josh Downs, Jalin Hyatt, two good players. Tyler Scott, I like. I love Cedric Tillman. Marvin Mims is an explosive guy. A.T. Perry in the third round would be a lot of fun. Tank Dell. You got Jaden Reed there. So there's a lot of good receivers available in this draft. So we'll see how those dominoes start to fall today. And I'm honestly most intrigued by the tight ends. How do these guys start to fall? Because only Dalton Kincaid went in round 1. There was some buzz that 4 tight ends could go in the first round with Mayer, Washington, and Laporta as well. That did not happen. So they're still available. Luke Musgrave out there as well. You still have guys like Tucker Kraft, Luke Schoonmaker. So if the Bears want to add a tight end today or even early on Day 3, they should have the chance to do that. Running backs, Devon Achane, Zach Charbonnet, a player that visited Hallis Hall, Tank Bigsby, Tyjae Spears, Israel Bonaconda, Roschon Johnson, Kendre Miller, Zach Evans. You still have guys like Chase Brown, who we've talked about a lot here on Bears now. So a lot of skill talent at receiver, at running back, at tight end still available at the Bears' disposal. All right, who's your top target for Day 2 of the NFL Draft? If you had to pick one player that the Bears end up with today, who is that guy? Go ahead and drop a name down in the comment section below and hit that subscribe button. Rolly and I are ready to go. We'll be live here in a few hours at 6:30 Eastern, at 5:30 Central Time, getting you ready for round 2 and ultimately breaking down all of the Bears picks. Should be a lot of fun, so subscribe and join us then. And so long. We'll see you in a few hours.